They showed up unannounced. Lord Whitehill is in a lather. I assume you explained to Lord Ethan why they're here?
Business with Garrett. I told him.
Lord Whitehill knows Garrett is a squire to this house. Or was, I suppose.
Was. It makes no difference. The Whitehills were clearly in the wrong, so don't give him any satisfaction. Out there, you were decisive and firm. Now do it again with these bastards.
Let's not do something rash. Things are bad enough as it is.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Duncan. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky, I think, so let's get our bearings. First of all, if ever there was a game that needed a codex, it's probably this one. You can read all about the characters here, but you can do that on your own, I think. So, a little bit of backstory about the Boltons. The Boltons, like I said, were bannermen to House Stark and have now stabbed them in the back in order to gain power in the north, and they have been basically assigned as Roose Bolton, the head of the house, has been assigned as Warden of the North. So he is now in power, and the Whitehills, of course, are bannermen to the Boltons, so they want to catch some updraft here. However, right now, Roose Bolton, he is still busy with, securing the north and all that stuff, and driving back the remaining Stark forces. So he has put his bastard son into power, called Ramsay Snow. Now, Ramsay is the one currently doing business for the Boltons, and actually Ramsay was the one who razed Winterfell to the ground, which is quite unfortunate. But he will later put the blame on Theon Greyjoy, but that's another story. However, Ramsay is the current threat to House Forrester. He will be coming to their doorstep, and that's a bad thing, because Ramsay is a very, very cruel man, even by Bolton standards. And the question now is, of course, how should we tackle the situation? Royland and Duncan are discussing whether or not diplomacy is actually a viable option, and I think probably not.
What should I say to him?
Tell him and his men to leave.
Now is not the time to anger Lord Whitehill any more than he already is. He's got 5 times as many men, and the backing of House Bolton.
All the more reason to stand up for ourselves. Only cowards and dead men roll over.
But I think we should do our best to try for diplomacy at least. Because I don't think we stand much of a chance against them in an open fight.
Lord Ethan, is it? My condolences for your father and brother. The late Lord Forrester was no friend to me or my house, but to his family it's still a loss. My only regret is I wasn't there to drive the dagger into his heart myself. I've been waiting for this day all my life. The Forresters finally get their due.
My father died a hero, fighting for the North against traitors and oathbreakers.
Aye! And look where that got him. And no bread and salt! What kind of fucking house receives a lord with no fucking bread and salt? You bloody abbot. No courtesies. I should have expected as much.
Calm yourself, old man.
You little fuck! That's how you talk to a lot. You Forresters have shit on us for generations. Well, now the Starks are no longer around to have your back, are they? We're the power in the North.
Roose Bolton is the Warden of the North.
Aye. And we've been his bannermen for 5 fucking centuries. You cunt.
Lord Ethan, you're losing control of this.
We all serve House Bolton now.
I'm not finished. Maybe if you hadn't been so fucking greedy with the ironwood, things would have been different between us.
You squandered your share.
Our share was taken from us. We had no fucking choice but to harvest what was left.
What is it you want, Lord Whitehill?
Your man, the squire. We were minding our own business, keeping the king's peace, as his lordship here said, when your man attacked us for no reason.
Hear that? Attacked for no reason.
No reason? You murdered his family.
Then you admit it was your man who killed my men. And a pig fat. How do you
Wow.
answer for your
The audio
squire,
glitches are real.
Lord Ethan? He acted in your name. And you are the lord of this house.
We lost people too, Lord Whitehill. Your men murdered his entire family.
You lost pig farmers, not soldiers. The soldiers worth 100 of their type. Where's the fucking coward who killed my men? I know he's here. What have you done with him?
He was sent to the wall.
Who the fuck sent him to the wall? Answer me! Who's the one who did it?
You heard me. He was sent to the wall. It's done.
What? That was my justice to deliver, boy. And you denied me of it. I'm not leaving until I have my justice. Now bring me the coward who did it, or you'll answer to Roose Bolton. What kind of fucking house is this?
A house of honorable men.
Lady Forrester.
You bellow like a wounded boar, Lord Whitehill. Have you forgotten your manners?
I mean no disrespect to you, my lady, considering your losses. But this is not over.
It's over when my son says it is.
Thank you for coming, Lord Whitehill.
Ethan is Lord of Ironrath now. By rights, his word is law here. If that displeases you, then I trust you can find the door.
That lad may be lord of this house, but Lord Bolton will have the final say. I'll send him a raven letting him know a Forrester man killed one of his own. That the new Lord Forrester lied to my face and denied me my justice.
Nobody
Then
lied
we'll
to you.
see whose word is law.
Do your worst, you bastard.
I don't have to get the last word either.
You must find your voice, my lord. Your enemies will interpret your silence as a sign of weakness.
You were brave, my son. But you'll need to be braver still when Ramsay Snow arrives to see you bend the knee. Prepare a raven. We need to send word to Mira in King's Landing at once.
So that went reasonably well. I tried to be both as non-provocative and as assertive as possible, even though Lord Whitehill he kept trying to prod me into any kind of lapses of judgment. So yeah, this is the feud coming through. These guys are definitely seeing a chance here that they might get back what they think is owed to them in terms of the Ironwood territory, I think. So apparently sometime in the past we don't know what happened, but somehow they feel they got the short end of the stick, and I can understand that. I mean, the awesome thing about Game of Thrones is that all these characters, you know where they're coming from, you know what their deal is, why they're doing the things that they're doing. There's always motivation behind it, and that makes them much more interesting. So even though that guy might be a total dick, you can kind of understand it, because he's thinking, okay, this is my chance to bring honor to my house and take it back and whatever, and pay back the asshole neighbors, basically. Because we don't know what happened in the past. They might have been wrong, like without any fault of their own, you know. So that's what always strikes me about this series. All the characters are so three-dimensional. They feel like they've been living in that world, and you're just the person taking it all in through the books or through the TV series. And now, of course, the video game. So I think our next scene takes us to King's Landing. I think I saw the red keep there in the distance before I paused the game. And presumably we'll catch up with Mira, I think her name was, the eldest Forrester daughter, who's currently there for whatever reason. Maybe she's betrothed to somebody in there, in the capital. Who knows? We'll see.
Your sister can help us. Although just a handmaiden, she has Marjorie Tyrell's favor. And Lady Marjorie's betrothal to the king may be enough to keep the Boltons at bay, if it's presented to her as it should be.
Alright, meet Mira. Like I said, she's probably betrothed to somebody within the city, because in Westeros, people, and especially women, really didn't leave their homeland just willy-nilly. Leaving your home might mean you won't see your family for years and years, so there must be at least a good reason for her to be here. I also wonder why they mentioned Marjorie in the beginning. Maybe she has some ties to her?
King's Landing. I wonder if it's sunny at Ironrath today.
Yeah, this whole series as a whole, Game of Thrones, has been under scrutiny by many people for its betrayal of women. Some people have called it sexist. I disagree completely. I don't think the series is sexist. I think it depicts a sexist world with very strong female characters who struggle against it. Okay, let's have a look
You
around.
made this for me.
Aww, she's homesick.
It was very kind of Lady Marjorie to give this to me.
Mm-hmm.
It once belonged to Lady Olenna.
Huh. Just as I was finished talking about strong female characters, Olenna is one of the most interesting characters, I think,
Asher sent me this coin.
in
Do you
all of
remember
Game
him?
of Thrones.
What a strange place, Essos.
Hopefully we'll see her at some point. Oh. Well, read it, please.
Father. Much excitement here in King's Landing for the coming wedding. Lady Marjorie has proven to be quite popular throughout the city. I do wish you and Mother could come, although I know it would be impossible under the circumstances. I miss all of you, and I look forward to the day you can.
Oh dear, I think she's already heard the news. Oh no. Well, let's see what else is in here.
Wonders Made by Man, by Lomas Longstrider. A gift from Roderick. I hope to see them all someday.
What does she know? Oh, yeah, there's the letter from Mother. Prepare to cry, everyone.
It troubles me to even ask this of you, but you must appeal to Lady Marjorie to intervene on our behalf. She is our best hope, and can be a powerful ally. especially now when your family so desperately needs her help.
Okay, so looks like there was already a time jump. This looks like the follow-up letter, the one after she was told her father and brother died. Alright then. Yeah, you can still help your family even though you're miles and miles away. What?
Oh, sorry, milady. I didn't mean to disturb you.
You
I
can't
can come
just
back later
come
if
in.
you'd like.
Oh, fuck off.
Later would be best.
Learn some courtesies.
Of course, milady.
There she is. That's Marjorie.
Lady Marjorie, you're early.
I was hoping there would be time for us to talk. Come, there's something we must discuss. From the day you arrived in Highgarden, I've thought of you more as a friend than as my handmaiden. A dear friend, in fact.
Thank you, my lady.
And you know how
I
I
see.
feel about what's happened to your family. I feel your pain as if it were my own. What you've suffered is beyond imagining. And your poor family as well.
You're very kind, my lady.
Of course, Mira, but you must not despair. We will get through this together. You must understand there are limits to what I can say, especially here in King's Landing, now that I am to be queen. To have a handmaiden from the north whose family fought for Robb Stark. It raises questions at a time I can least afford. Cersei herself cornered me this morning outside the Royal Sept. She mentioned the northern girl in my service, and she painted you a traitor. She was very pleased with herself. Her face was full of mirth as she said it.
How did you respond?
I told her you are one of my most trusted handmaidens, that you can hardly be blamed for the actions of your father and brother. Nonetheless, she demands an audience. She wants an apology of some sort. For what, I don't know, but she's waiting for us now, and I promised I would bring you to her. I wouldn't ask this of you if it were not important. I cannot afford any conflict with Cersei with the wedding so near.
I'll do as you ask, my lady.
I knew I could trust you. Humor her. Tell her what she wants to hear.
Interesting.
See if the Queen Regent is ready to receive us.
I wouldn't know what she... Well, Cersei's paranoid, I guess. That's reason enough for her to have an audience with a handmaiden, but, well...
You'll be fine. I know you will. You may feel one thing, but you must say another.
Good luck.
Okay. So before we go in, let's talk about Cersei and Marjorie for a minute. Cersei is, of course, the Queen Regent as mother to King Joffrey. And Marjorie Tyrell is, of course, betrothed to King Joffrey right now. However, that didn't used to be the case. Actually, Marjorie intended to marry Renly Baratheon, Joffrey's uncle, one of the major parties who tried to usurp the throne. However, after Renly's death, untimely as it is, Marjorie reevaluated all that and came to the conclusion, well, both houses, Lannister and Highgarden, came to the conclusion that they just do better together, actually. So by that you can kind of already see where this is going. Marjorie's, at least that's how she comes across, as being very power hungry. She wants to be queen no matter what. And Cersei feels naturally threatened by that, especially now that, well, now that all the small folk within the capital are so enamored with Marjorie and her appearance and what she means to the citizens. So yeah, a power struggle among women.
You can do this.
And here's the real star of the show.
Lady Marjorie.
Tyrion, hey!
Lord Tyrion.
That wizard came from the
Grace?
moon.
With your permission, allow me to introduce Lady Mira of House Forrester.
Your Grace.
The girl knows her courtesies. Impressive. You may rise.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
I wasn't talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
House Forrester's loyalty to the crown never wavers, Your Grace.
I see. And yet... For centuries, the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark. A house of traitors.
They were the Wardens of the North. We all served at the pleasure of the...
Clever girl.
Thank you,
Perhaps
Tyrion.
too clever for her own good.
The girl did say her loyalty was unwavering.
She has a talent for equivocation, yet I question what she really thinks. Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
Roose Bolton also served the Starks, Your Grace.
And proved his loyalty to the crown by bringing their house to a swift and sudden end. Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances. There are ships and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose, but I trust we can rely on House Forrester.
Forster Ironwood does seem rather unique.
Yes, Your Grace.
It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was necessary to save Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
I won't dishonor myself, Your Grace.
I see.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
It raises an interesting question, I suppose. Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the war? Our dear Marjorie here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
I'm sure she regrets it.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define. This city alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Who knows what lurks within their hearts? You are a girl from the north, here in service to Lady Marjorie. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question. And if your loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she
Let the
would...
girl answer the question. Go on.
I would be true to the king, Your Grace.
What she wants to hear.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
Ah, Tyrion.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants. Which is not very encouraging. I'd like a word with you, if I may.
Of course, Your Grace.
Come on, Marjorie. You know I just told her what she wants to hear.
I'll walk you out. This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss. These would be trying times for your family, even under the best of circumstances.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion. That's very kind of you to say.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly declare your loyalty to Joffrey for all to hear. Poor Lady Marjorie was humiliated.
What?
Although Cersei seemed quite pleased.
She wasn't
It was
humiliated.
quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all highly entertaining.
I did it for Lady Marjorie.
Rather odd, if that's what she asked of you. But I'm sure she has your best interests at heart. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can. She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who decides such matters. The Crown needs boats. Boats need wood, and I speak for the Crown in this regard, not her.
What are you suggesting?
I suppose the Crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Marjorie might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous. And your house. Are you willing to risk that?
These audio glitches are kind of infuriating at this point.
It may be far too dangerous.
It's a risk I'm willing to take, Lord Tyrion. Please.
You are a brave girl, aren't you? I'll consider it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival. The mere thought of them makes me thirsty already. Just be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.